I hope you take the time to listen to this. The most confrontational realization that I've had to go through is one of the most daunting things you'll ever face in your life. Trust me when I say this. Trust me. Something you need right now is a bit of faith and trust. And I urge that you ask yourself a question. Who do you have faith in? Who do you trust the most? Just stop and ask yourself that serious question. Who do you really have faith in and trust the most? It's a very serious question. The biggest dilemma I've gone through my whole life, and throughout my whole life to this very day, is that people can't deal with the truth. I'm telling you something that's very difficult for anyone to face. You talk about certain subjects and you go really, really deep inside people's lives and you start to identify the tools they're using and what kind of adverse effect that has, the domino effect, the ripple effect. You start to realize something, okay? I can always think in ways that other people can't. I can see the domino effect of every decision they make. They can't see that far ahead. Not as far ahead as I can. You know, if you're going to make a decision, okay, I just want to give you an idea so you understand. Imagine 5 people sitting down, okay, and they need to make a decision about something that's going to have an adverse effect. Okay, it's going to have a ripple effect. It's going to have a domino effect. And they're trying to work out which way to go about this decision because every single idea and everything they come up with has an adverse effect. It has a domino effect. And they're trying to eliminate that effect, but they can't. There has to be an effect. There's going to be a domino effect. No matter what, there's going to be one. One might be a little bit better than the other, one might be a little bit worse. One might take a little bit longer than the other, but eventually they're going to have an adverse effect, sooner or later. Eventually, sooner or later. Now, I just want to give you an idea for a reason. Now, I can walk in amongst the 7 biggest networks in Australia, the 7 most powerful people making these decisions, in the most powerful position. I can walk in and I can give them 2 other domino effects they never even thought of. And one of them will have 0 adverse effect, but it might take a lot longer to do, but they couldn't think that far. So I give them a structure that might take too much extra to do, but eventually it will pan out in such a way there'll be no side effect, no ripple effect, and no domino effect. It can be worked out with the right solution. Now, I just want you to imagine that a person walks into a room full of the 7 most powerful networks orchestrating these kind of decisions, and you come in with a decision like this that they never even thought of, and they're the most sophisticated people in the game. You see, there are CEOs in this world that trains CEOs. There are masterminds in this world that trains masterminds to be ultimate masterminds. They're the greatest teachers in the world. It's not the one that does it, it's the one that taught him. He taught him from every mistake he made, from the adverse effect, from his own experience, wisdom and knowledge. If you're a mastermind and you can do something better than anyone else in the world can, a real mastermind learns from his mistakes, and then he teaches his pupils how to do it even better and not make those mistakes. And that's the greatest achievement in the world from that kind of mastermind. So I want you to consider something, okay? I can walk up to any person in the world, my family, my loved ones, my friends, it doesn't matter who I am. I start touching certain bases about decisions we make that causes these adverse effects because they do not know what they do and they do not know any better. And they've never seen the picture that gives them 1,000 words. The The picture, the light bulb idea, the picture that tells you 1,000 words that cannot lie to you. They can't see it because they think critically about it and come to their own conclusion with reasoning. And so therefore they become limited with these tools. I think outside the mind with my natural organic motives, because instinctively with the outside influence in reality that changes these circumstances like this. Now, I just want to bring something to your profound attention. I've gone into a lot of details in my last videos about this. I make this video every day. I make this very clear. I know how to resolve global issues better than any other human being on earth does. Record it with evidence, with statistics to prove it, to back it up. One person, one man can change the world. And I've already done that in a whole continent in Australia by bringing the highest death toll from cocaine, violence, gang killing, okay, also domestic violence, kids taking off their parents, going into homes, going to prison, prostitution. Every single thing about this structure, I brought it down to the lowest in 30 years, in 4 years. I was involved in this and I was the #1 problem that stopped the marketing strategy, and they didn't like it. They didn't like it being dropped to the lowest statistic in 30 years because it was always escalating. And they wanted to continue to escalate. And then I come along as the biggest mastermind, according to their own documents, by the biggest think tank. According to their documents, I'm the mastermind that could respond 7 times more powerful than what they could. And those statistics are there to prove that. Those statistics have been created to prove the tools that I use do work better than any system, any bureaucrat, any religions, any hospital, any primer, any cops, any politicians, anything in any system in this world. I did it from the streets the way Jesus did. With street wisdom and knowledge, I'm an outlaw. I don't use the tools everybody else relies on. And I set the standards here like no other human being on earth. And I'm recorded as the biggest mastermind. And I'm commended by my arresting officer. And his affidavit commends me. And he said, Kim, I envy the things you do when I watch all the statistics on every board and headquarters plummeting to the lowest we've ever seen in 30 years. Who are you? Where do you come from? I think the hardest thing to face is when you talk to people, okay, and you tell them things, they don't believe in you. Nobody does. They're very intimidated. For some reason, okay, majority of the whole world population, the whole system, all the ordinary people, 99% of people I intimidate. They're scared of me. And what you learn is, you learn that when you talk to your own mother or your family, loved ones, friends, identify these things, they get a shock. And every time you tell them about things and the decisions they make and what the adverse effects are, they get a shock because they realize it's true. And they start to rattle. And then they think you're negative and they think that you're being mental and there's something wrong with you. They accuse you of these things. Yet you're telling them the truth and they don't want to know. They don't want to know what they're doing. They don't want to know the tools they're using. They can't handle the truth, they can't face it, they cannot deal with it. This is the most confrontational realization I'm in, that I know 99.9% of Western civilization cannot deal with me, cannot face me. When I identify things with love, compassion, loyalty, honor, respect, moral morals, inspiration and encouragement, because you know what? I've never caused anyone to stumble. I put them back on their feet to cope in life. I cure people from everything they suffer in the mindset they live in. Every mental disorder, every single thing going on in the mind, and these are the adverse effects. So when I can cure people from the voices in their mind to suffer from addictions and habits, drugs, alcohol, and voice in their mind, and all these adverse effects, why is it the world is so terrified of me? Why is the whole system suppressing me so much when I cure people every day right here on this platform from all the same adverse effects? Every single day, I help people. Why does the rest of the people not like me? Why do they suppress me so much? Why don't they care? Why is it they don't care? Why do they turn a blind eye to this all around the world? Why does the whole world turn a blind eye to this? Why can't they handle the truth?